And we're going to continue on with looking some more at animations, more at the canvas, um, and some other features perhaps. This is a game, if you call it that I put together earlier today. And that's an animation I brought over from Blender. And we'll take a look at that in more detail. But you see the green cube in the background. If I do press P on my keyboard, it plays it. Although you can't see it because this cube's in the way now. Let me stop this and take that cube and move it. Okay. You notice the canvas is not present currently. And if I press my H, I can make the canvas appear. So we're going to take a look at that also. First off, let's just take a look at controlling an animation by script. So let me start a new project. Okay, so I want to drop on a plane. So I'm going to right click on here, choose 3D object, choose plane. I'm going to increase the scale of it. Make it bigger like that. And I'm going to drop on an asset. So I'm going to right click on here, import new asset, and drop on something. I'll do sand. So I click the sand and drag and drop it up here in a hierarchy on whatever I'm applying it to. And there's my sand. You notice it doesn't look like the sand because when you by default drag and drop that on there, it'll stretch it to fit whatever image you have. And we'll take a look at that more later. But Okay, I'm going to drop a right click on here, choose 3D object, choose cube, and move it up. And I want to drop a texture on it too. So I'll right click here, import new asset. I need to, here's blue background. That might not be too bad. Drag and drop that on my cube. And that's blue. Okay, now we want to create an animation based upon our cube here. So I have my, if I have my cube selected up here, and I go to my window, animation, I'm looking right at it, there it is, animation. I'll bring up this window here, and if you have your cube selected, when you do a create, it'll create based upon whatever you have selected. So if I click create, call it cube anim, click save. Now at this point, I can turn on the enable keyframe recording mode. Put that down here. Now I'm currently at 0, I think. Yeah, that's 0 there. And now any change I make to my rotation, it automatically create my keyframes. So for example, if I put 2 in here, it would automatically create a keyframe. I actually want this at 0 because I don't want it to be rotating yet. But I just made some change and that created the keyframe. Come over here to my end, wherever that might be. So I just clicked in this red area up here. That's the color mine is anyway. And dragged it over to here. You just click. And now if I change the rotation on the Y to 359 and press enter, it'll create more keyframes. And now if I shut off the keyframe recording mode and I click the play, we'll see our cube moving around like that. Okay, so now we got a basic animation created. If I got my cube selected, it by default creates an animator. And if I double click the controller, it'll bring up in this window that we saw last time, I think. Time before, maybe. And you see on entry, it's going to play a cube animation. Now, if I click play, you see by default it's playing. But if I click the animator window, you can see which animation is playing. So you can kind of visually see it. Well, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to play it on an event. So I don't want to do it on entry. Entry is when your game starts, sits there and plays that. And so I'm going to right click, do a create state, create empty. Now we want the entry to point to this. And I learned how to do this the other day. If you right click on this and you choose set as default or set as layer default state, it'll point entry to that. So now if I run this, you see it isn't playing. Okay. Now for our cube, if we press a button, let's say, we want to trigger the animation. Doesn't have to be a button, it could be on collision. So realize that what the code I'm going to put here, you can put anywhere. So I'm going to click add component, choose new script. And I'll call this cube animation script. Double click Cube Animation Script. Okay, now I got some code already up here, which I'm going to cheat and refer to. Not that one. We're going to create a public animator animation because we want to do an association between our animator and the script here. So up here, call public animator animation. Now here, we're actually going to do a get component. You could do this another way. You can sit there and drag your animator onto this right here. But I'm going to use this code. Animator is equal to get component animator. Okay. What this is going to do is it's going to get the current animator that's attached to that game object, that cube in this case. So this is what makes that connection. Now I want to do a play. And I want to play the name. So if I let's see, go over my animator. I have it called Cube Animation. That is what I created down here when I created them twirling around. So Cube Anim. Now we want to trigger this though. We don't want it to sit there and play all the time. So I can say if input dot you could choose a mouse button down if you wanted to. I'm gonna do a get key down. And key code dot P for play. I'm going to attach that to Unity. Stop that and come over here. If I play, it's not currently doing anything. But now if I press my P, it starts playing. Again, I created a public animator anim. This did a get component of the current animator. What that does is for the cube here, it comes down here and says, okay, my animator is right here, and this is the only one I have. So it's getting this one. Now, you'd have to change this slightly if you had two animators. I'm not sure if it'll allow that. Should. Yeah, it should. Okay, already contains the same component. I lied. You can't have two animators. Okay. You can have multiple animations within an animator. but it's only going to have one. But anyway, this gets the one that's attached. So that makes the association between that and this one. Now this controller is pointing over to this right here, which contains this one animation that I did down here. And when I do the play, that's why I can just reference it directly here. Now let's say I wanted to create another animation. So somewhere right here. There it is. Create new clip. Well, I gotta have the cube selected. Okay, cube selected. Create new clip. Cube animation 2. And you see it's drop here up in our animator by default. If I click add record. And this time I'm gonna change my position. Let me see, I change that to 1.01. Again, by making any change, it creates a current state. Let's come over here. I think they call that scrubbing, I believe. But you get over here. It really doesn't apply unless you actually have something to show. But I get over there, I change this to 3. 5, how about 4? 4. Helps if you have your game window open. You can see, okay, 6 is probably good. So now if I play this, it moves up like that. I could have it move back down. If I came over like right there, I still got my keyframe recording on, I believe. So then I come back here and set that back to 0.3, 1.1. Helps if you could actually remember. This was 1.01. And it's back to 1.01. Okay, that works. So you can see how it moves. Okay, so now that's called Cube Animation 2, and I see it in my animator here. It's not currently associated with anything. So through our code then, we could have if input.getKeyDown keycode.r animation play cube animation 2, I think is what I called it. Cube anim 2, yes. Attach that to Unity. Now if I run this, it's not doing anything. If I press my R, it runs that animation. If I do my P, it runs that animation. You notice as I keep pressing those and changing them, it shuts off the other animation, which is interesting. I hadn't played with this, so I wasn't sure what it was going to do. I thought maybe it might keep doing the other one animation while it does the other one, but it appears like one shuts the other one off.
What happens if you press both keys and hold them?
Good question. Let's see. I'm holding both of them, and it's just the last one I pushed. Yeah. I'm trying to think how you could you could program it to do both at the same time.
Doesn't C# have an AND statement?
It does. Um,
If R and P are pressed, would that work?
only if there's other overloads here. And anim.play. Let's see what overloads there are. Passing string, state name hash, state name. I don't see any that allows you to bring in like an array of state names. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it doesn't look like it's possible with that play. Playback graph, playable graph, playback time, play in fixed time, start playback. Sets the animator in playback mode.
What about toggle?
See, I wonder if this would play both of them. Let's see. No. You say toggle? Where do you see toggle at?
I thought it was a word. I must be thinking of something else.
Not saying it isn't there somewhere. Okay, that didn't do it. I wonder if you could do something like that and then trigger this.
If you made another if statement that was bound to both animations and you pressed it, would that do it?
No, because it still goes back to this right here. You could definitely do have the if statement, but it goes back to this. Now, huh. I don't see any way to copy this unless I Control C, Control V. Now there you go. It copied it. That would definitely do it because if they're in the same animation, then when you play it, then it should should work. So which one is that? That's my first one, which is P. Huh. Well, it looks good there. It's not only rotating, but it's moving up and moving back down, I'm assuming. I don't understand how I broke it, though. Oh, maybe maybe I need to reattach this because I had some weird code here to begin with. I had like that start playback. Okay, so now push play. There it goes. Not as slick as I would hope, but you can, I guess, edit, copy that, and edit, paste it in something else. What I did is I just went to the other animation, and I highlighted those. I held down my left mouse button, dragged till they're all highlighted. Did a Control C, and then I came over here and did a Control V, and it copied the position. Okay. So that was our controlling our the animation via the script. Now we should be able to um, 1.170. I'm gonna drop another cube on here. Move that up like that. And for that cube, I'm going to put a script on it. Cube to move. And double click it. And then down here, I'll do my vector 3 position. Or do I need that? I don't think I need that. I'm gonna say if input dot get key down, key code dot w, then this dot transform dot translate. Let's see what options are available here. Okay, XYZ. So let's do this real quick. I will put the time component in there.
A would be going to the left, not backwards.
Oh, what? Yeah, I didn't figure I'd get those right, but
S would be the one that lets you go backwards.
Okay. But see, then I'd have to know where backwards is, if it's positive or negative, and I don't know of that. So, but that'll be good enough. Okay, so attach that to Unity. It also depends on which direction you're facing. Okay, so if I run that now, maybe, there it goes. Okay. Okay, that'll be good. I think I need to make one of these a rigid body. So I want to check for a collision. So I'll make this, the blue one here, a rigid body.
I thought you just needed the box colliders for that.
Maybe. Let's try that, because I don't remember, to be honest. So I'll go to Cube Animation. And come down here on collision. Oh, you do. Collision inner. On collision inner. Okay. Now at this point, I want to play one of my animations. And I'll choose this one. Attach that to Unity. Didn't trigger it. Assuming it got here. Debug dot log. I'm here. Okay, if I get back there, play it. Go to my console. Okay, never got down to that code. So let me put a rigid body on that to see if that's. Should refresh my memory on collisions before I came to class. Add component. By default, they both have a box collider on them and a rigid body. Assuming it doesn't fall through the plane, which it might. Let's see what it does. Now that's interesting.
I think it's falling and colliding with the plane and then causing that.
Oh. Let me just get rid of gravity. I mean, it demonstrates what I wanted to show, but I was trying to do something real quick. Okay, so it's not doing it now. Okay, so I'm going backwards, or going toward the cube. That's curious. Unless I should have put the collision on this one. This cube has a box collider on it. That one has a box collider. Let me drop script on here too, just to see. Cube 2 script. On collision inner. Debug.log right here too. Attach to Unity. Now it's not even doing a collision there, is it? Of course, it helps if I put the script on the right place. So why would it be colliding with the plane, but it wouldn't collide with that? What's on the plane? Mesh collider.
Could it be the fact that you're translating into the exact space of the cube entirely?
Oh. Well, it still should, if I'm going past it, yeah. But yeah, maybe I'm going to. Okay, now I make it see a little bit better. There's my W. There's my A, S moving there. Definitely looks like they're on top of each other. Position 1.17. Yeah, they're on top of each other. Let me add a rigid body on here. Shouldn't have to do that. There it was. I need a rigid body on both of them. Boy, my memory's bad. I remember us having to put a rigid body on both collision items. Did we? Do you remember?
No, we only put it on one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Especially the
It may be because it overlaps, or it fills the thing completely, but it doesn't overfill it. It fits within the exact trillionth of a millimeter of the space.
That could be, since I'm increasing it by ones, and maybe that has something to do with it. Because definitely, if I look at the plane, I don't see no rigid body on a plane. So you shouldn't need that for the collision. Huh. Anyway, that demonstrated what I wanted to show, is that you can call these animations on collisions, on anything. So, for example, if you're trying to write some kind of game such that when something collides, it does something spectacular, something different, then you can do that. Interesting. Okay. Grab a drink here, and we'll take a look at the next topic. Now we had our canvas. So if I drop a canvas back on here, I right click, choose UI, and choose canvas. And then I can right click on this canvas here and choose UI text. Now sometimes it's hard to see here. Remember, you can see it definitely easier in the game, or you can do a Shift F to set your focus to your canvas. But if I drop another UI text on there, again, if you go to the scene, you have your canvas selected, you do Shift F. I don't know why, but it's facing like the wrong direction.
And is enormous.
Yeah. So then you can move these. Now, the canvas, we talked about some of its uses last time. You can be used for keeping track of scores, like if I want to keep track of the collisions that happens. You can do that, and I'll just very quickly show that. My top one here is that one right there, and let's say I give it the name of txt underscore score, and I have it set to 0 initially. Now you can add a component onto this and say new script, and this will be our text score script. And then I can double click this. I'll bring up the code, maybe. There it goes. And you can very easily pass information into any of these components by doing a public static int score. Now set it equal to 0 initially. Let's see. Oh, score. Score equals 0 initially. And then if I want to reference this int score, through my maybe my collision, so my cube animation over here, on a collision, besides just saying I'm here, maybe I want to update that value. Now, this class is called txt underscore score underscore script. So if I say t text score script, then dot, and you'll see score there. I should be able to do a plus plus. That would increase it by 1. You can have this as any calculation. Plus 1, plus 2, times 5, or whatever. And that'll automatically update this variable over here. Let's see.
The Belko experiment, like Battle Royale, has the most horrifying concept in the world today. Average everyday people will be forced to murder or be murdered. Y'all know me. I want you to be good people.
Okay. So then we could have a public void.
One sec, my YouTube's acting weird.
Okay.
I'm getting audio, but Chrome's not even open.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It stopped now, so.
Oh, did it?
I don't know.
Okay. Update text. And game object G, G is equal to get component text. Oops. Actually, I'm drawing a blank. What? Which one do I want to get? This text, update text. Nope, that's not it. I may have to cheat and look at some source code here. Okay, let me cheat. Okay, recent files. We'll look at this one. That's my moving robot. me save this and go cheat and find the code. Ah, 3534. It would have been last class, so let's see about this one. Library. I did show you last class how to update those, right?
I think so.
Okay. Here it is. Okay, so text.transform.find. Okay. If I had any kind of memory, it'd just be, I could do wonders. Okay, so text transform.find, and I called it. Now let me look that up. Text underscore score. And I need to bring in the Unity engine.ui. And I'm updating the text, so I need to bring in a string. Param text. Actually, I don't need to even do that. If I'm updating the variable directly, I can just come up here. Not that this is the most efficient, but then I can do score.toString. Okay, so over here in our cube animation, we're updating the score directly over to here, and then through the update, I'm just updating it. Name text does not exist. No, don't want to run that. Okay, so now if I run this, It's a little bit unsettling right there, but we'll leave that alone for the time being. Okay, so it's not updating our instance. Text score script and score. So over here, text score script dot score equals text score script dot score plus 1, and I play the animation. Of course, I'm trying to remember what green means. Attach that to Unity. Debug.log text underscore score script dot score. This is a way we can see where the issue's at. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Well, see, it's updating the value. See the 4 and the 5? Because each time it comes down, it collides again. The bigger issue is this right here. Transform.find text score. Text. Let me set that back to text. Shouldn't matter. Except for I have attached to this. It's not finding that. It's finding this. Okay. I'm guessing. See if that's true. Still getting that issue.
If you were to set the name of the thing to text box, would that do it?
The name here?
Yes.
Let's see, text box. Um, attach that to Unity. Nope, still getting it. I mean, the code's working otherwise. It just isn't accessing the text box up here. And for the life of me, I don't see.
You have the text in the text box. You're trying to select the text box, not the text aspect of it.
Right, I'm trying to access this right here.
Okay, you have it set so that you're trying to access text box, not the text aspect.
This here, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, see, I had it set as text, but it wasn't getting it. If I run that. Well, let's go cheat and look at 65. So new Unity project 65. Save. I didn't want to bring that up because it seems like it takes so long, but it's taking a long time anyway. We were. We made the connection between set text and we made that our handler for the button. And that's what made the connection then between the text and doing its transform. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see now.
Yeah. And then bring up the other one. Uh, 70. So that code's only going to work if we connect the two. Unfortunately, with the text, there's no action involved with it. So this may be a little bit more challenging than I originally was thinking. See, by default, I'm trying to think if I added it. I think I added that, didn't I? See, I'll edit the script on that. I don't think I'm going to be able to program that text box directly. See, if you add a button on, then the button has this action. But unless I'm just not seeing it, I don't see any action here. So if this game object is called text box, let's approach it from a different angle. Game object G is equal to game object dot find text box. And then text txt equals to g dot transform dot find text dot get component text let's try that one. Score.toString. Score is up here. Okay. And still isn't updating, is it? I'm going to add a tag. The text. Dot find by object with tag. The text. Try that. Now try one other thing. And if that doesn't do it, then I have no clue. I have to do some digging into it. That's not working. Okay, so okay, so let's run that. Sloppy, but that worked. What I did, and you could do this a lot, and I didn't. I don't like doing this, but I created a public text T here. And what that does is over here under our text box, it puts a T on here where we can drag that text box like back on itself. And so then this, whenever you reference it in your code, will be referencing whatever one has been attached. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's sloppy because I'm attaching a text box to itself. It works. I knew it'd work, but there's got to be a slick way of doing that instead of assigning it that way. But I guess as long as it works, now you can see it obviously has some issues because while it's doing a collision, this will increase more than by 1. If I come here and move it, see how it went very quickly? Because as it starts going up, it's still colliding. So it's colliding over and over. But we won't address that. I just wanted to show how to change that. Now I'm going to use the same sloppiness to work on the canvas, but I really don't have time to show that today. This is a very powerful feature, being able to put them here, because then no matter what you have, you can sit there and drag and drop it on here. For example, if I wanted to control the canvas, if I put the public canvas C on there, attach that to Unity, now for the you look over here, we have a C that's a canvas. And if I drag and drop this canvas on here, then I can program the canvas that connection's been made. This gets rid of having to do that find by tag, find, and so forth, and making that association. You can make the association directly through this public access here. Like I say, it's not the slickest way, but it'll work. We'll explore that more in the virtual reality programming class. So, do you have any questions on any of that?
No, just projects I want to try out now.
Yeah, I was playing with this over the weekend, where you can access these directly by dropping them like that. And the concept makes me think of global variables, where you make it so it's available all the time, which isn't good in programming. That's what doing the find is better because it consumes less memory. It isn't sitting there all the time. At least that's what I think is happening with these. Is these will be consuming memory all the time every time the game's running. And so if you had 100 of these spread throughout your entire, then it would probably slow down your game. I haven't read anything official on that, but if they are global variables, that's the issue with them. It makes it a lot easier programming-wise, as you saw. But yeah, I'll go ahead and stop the recording there.